You are listening to the Rick Magennis Show podcast, where Rick and his guests talk all things affiliate program management. No topics are off limits. Want to learn proven tips and strategies to grow an affiliate program? Look no further. Now here's your host, Rick Magennis.
Welcome back to another episode of the Rick Magennis Show. Today I have a very special guest, Patty McGill. He's a friend of mine and an industry veteran. Patty, welcome to the Rick Magennis Show.
Rick, thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm really looking forward to talking all things affiliates and partnerships.
Oh, yeah. Affiliate marketing is wonderful, isn't it? It really is. Without it, I don't know what I would do in my life.
It's changed so much over the last 10 years. I just had a call this morning with Impact. For those not familiar, they're listening. Impact's a SaaS platform that allows you to track, manage, and also recruit your affiliates for your program. But it was interesting talking to how much they've changed, even like over the 5-6 years since I left the network game, so to speak, and came here to North America and managed the program, and now I'm doing my own consulting.
Yep, and that's the good thing about the industry is it's evolving every day, and you never know what tomorrow is going to bring. And just with all the acquisitions and all the technology coming in, it's wonderful to be a part of this industry.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I've seen the rate of all these different platforms acquiring new, like influencer databases, new tracking providers. Finally, there's going to be, I'm not going to say like legitimized, but like affiliates and partnerships are going to be given way more respect in the way that they can deliver sales, across like any industry, really, B2B, e-commerce, B2C. When you see the price of paid ads go up, and obviously, and the price of working with influencers also going up, just doing like one-off campaigns. Affiliate marketing, partnership marketing makes great sense. And with the caveat, as long as you've got a product that is something that people want.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. Before we get into more of this conversation today, I want to just let the audience know your background, how you started in affiliate marketing, and what you're doing with your consulting today.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. So I've been working in affiliate and partnership marketing for around 10 years now. I started in 2010. So my background prior to that, I was in recruitment. I was doing investment banking recruitment, worked with Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, guys like that. Done that for a really long time. Then around 26, you can work out how old I am now, 26, I took the lead, joined a startup called V Interactive. They're now called V Global, and they've got a parent company or a company that had a relationship a little while ago called Cyber, which is based here in North America. And when we started that, I was one of the, I think the third salesperson in the team there that joined, and it was just me and I think it was 7 others in total. We were just hardcore blowing up, doing traditional SaaS sales, emails, cold outreach. And then we signed a company called Kiddie Care. So they're very much like Babies R Us, big, mum and dad, children's care and toys and, living stuff, like one-stop shop for everything. They're very big. They were a very big retail chain in the UK. And so when we were talking with them, we were selling abandoned cart software. This is par for the course now in 2020. Gosh, the time flies. But at that time, we were capturing emails pre-click on email fields. So everyone's had this, you type in your emails, you hit next, you abandon your cart, and you get an email. We were doing it in a way where we were able to capture letter by letter as the email box was being filled in. So if someone abandoned that field, just that field, and then checked out, we were sending over the leads to these businesses. And Kiddie Care was one of them. Then they said to us, look, hey, you're missing a really big opportunity here. There's, if you go down the route of a CPA model, we think you could make, 1, a lot more money. 2, the proposition's going to be way more attractive for more people. And that's essentially what we've done. We looked at the numbers. We were charging a couple of K a month for the data. And then we're like, well, why don't we just build a basic email response tool that we send out on behalf of the client? And it was as basic, I remember, no joke, I was doing the email, I can't believe I'm saying this. I was creating the email in Microsoft Paint the first 6 months, because I didn't know how to use Photoshop or anything any of that stuff back then. So I was just using Microsoft Paint. I'd sort of create the email. I sent to the designer / character. I'd say, look, can you build something that looks like this? And this wasn't from Kitty Cat, by the way, so I'm not going to say it was them, but some of our other clients. I worked a lot in travel. Like, travel was my sector, so to speak, speciality. And we would send those designs off, and we were just contacting all of these merchants. We saw the affiliate networks, and we're like, holy S, this is an amazing opportunity, because you have thousands upon thousands of advertisers that are all generating some sort of traffic to their site. They're not maximizing it because, abandoned carts, the figure back then was like 80-90% of carts are abandoned at some stage of the checkout. So we saw that as a huge opportunity, and we'd already validated with some clients that Kitty Care and guys like that there was a big opportunity to recover those sales. And then the company just just blew up completely, like got so big. It went from sort of 7 staff to, I think it was at its peak, 800 staff. So really like super big. But we use networks as a great way to, the pitch was basically like, hey, you're making all this money already on your program, but you're losing out potentially on another like 90% of your business, and we can help you do that through a CPA. On a pure CPA model, we'll do the email, we'll set up the campaign, not on MS Paint by then, and we'll send those emails on your behalf, and then we'll only take a commission if it makes us. It made so much sense. It made like perfect sense. But as with all new technology, advertising and especially email collection, there was a lot of pushback of maybe, is this legal? Is this something that you can't do? And actually, like, luckily for us, it was completely legal. There's like a grey area in back then in 2010. There's like I think the EU like cookie directive came out around about that time, and there's still like a grey area where you could send an operational email if the cart failed. So if there was like an operational problem with the site, you could send that email and say, hey, was there a problem? So the email had to be less salesy and more like, hey, if you had a problem checking it out, here's a link to get you back to your basket. And for the inconvenience caused, here's a little discount to get you on your way, type of thing. And it worked tremendously well. Like, I was working with Hilton. I was working with Thistle Hotels, a really big one in the UK. I worked with On the Beach. Worked with brands from the Thompson Group, which I think at that time had 54% of the UK holiday travel market in terms of like people booking holidays with them. Yeah, enormous. Like the commissions were enormous, because we're essentially like, I'm going to use 2 analogies here. If you're from the States or Canada, where I'm based right now, it's like a hockey puck, right? It's just by the goal line and you're just slotting it in off the rebound. And if you're back in Europe listening to this, then it's just someone tapping the ball in after it hit the bar. So that's essentially what we're doing. So that company blew up. We saw a lot of competitors. We saw a lot of, I'm not going to say copycats, but a lot of people that saw that opportunity and like tried to capitalize on it as well. And so next step, I went to, because we built these amazing relationships with Affiliate Window, AWIN being one of them. It was basically recommended to go have a chat with them, talk about an opportunity to join the sales team, because I basically worked my way up to a point where I was basically below, I guess, like the executive board. And by the, and they made a lot of promises to give you shares and stuff like that, and it never really came to fruition. So I was like, you know what, this is a time for me to, I really love the affiliate world, build up some amazing relationships. And for people that are from the UK and Europe, what I've learned over there is that everyone is very tightly knit. Everyone knows each other. Everyone knows each other's business and stuff like that. Here in the States, perhaps not as a connected a community as it could be, and I think that's actually just down to like geographics as well. So joined AWIN. Was basically part of their brand sales team. Well, I actually started off as like part of their SME team, got promoted in my first 9 months, basically was in charge of like the brand sales. And then this is where it gets crazy, right? So I met the love of my life, my wife, Sal, and we were at the office, and everything just went amazing. But she's Canadian, her visa run out, and she had to move back. So I took a pretty bold step to, like, I'm not saying drop everything, but just make a complete 180 in terms of my career and where I'm going. So decided to make the move, follow her to Canada. Now I've got my PR status. Everything's been going super well. Still married, which is great. 1 year in. Yeah, this is a good start. And so now I've started consulting for some agencies. So I started working with All Inclusive Marketing. It's an agency based here in Canada, quite a well-known OPM. And was their biz dev director for around 9 months, 10 months. And then I got the conditions of my visa where I had to just go and I had to go and get like actual like full-time employment. So people work on a contract basis with those guys, which is, self-employed, which is absolutely fine. But, I needed it for my visa. So then I took the jump and moved to a tech startup called Thinkific in the online course world. And that's really where I think I've learned the most in terms of marketing strategies, partnership strategies, affiliate marketing strategies. And I took over their affiliate program back in 2016, August 2016. And, we grew I grew the MR 13x over the course of my time there. Got some stock, I bought my stock and options and stuff as I left. And now I'm doing consultant work and I'm working for myself, which is going great, all things considered, with, what's been going on around the world with COVID and that. But yeah, man, that's a 10-minute introduction into me. So I hope I've covered everything there.
No, it just shows you that there's so much to do in the industry too. You don't have to be just stuck in one spot. There's so much opportunity out there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's once you've got, I think I do believe like once you've got like if affiliate marketing, partnership marketing is like a square, so you've got like agencies, networks, affiliates, and then advertisers. Once you've done like just one of those sides, it gives you such great insight into all the other spaces, and it does let you go and move in and out of the others as well. So yeah, if anyone that's listening to this, sounds like they want a career like mine, then go ahead, go and just pick one area that is really something you're going to be very passionate about. If you love working with multiple clients, go work with an agency or a network. If you love executing great marketing campaigns, then go work with an advertiser, go work with potentially as an affiliate as well. So there's some great options there, and then you can move over to where you need to go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I started just pretty much over 10 years ago. I just started because I needed a job. I didn't have a job, and I just built a little affiliate website, and here I am. So it just it shows that you start somewhere, you might not end in that same place. Other opportunities come up.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, for sure. I've been very fortunate since going to consulting. I've worked with like SaaS companies. I've worked with really large YouTubers. I've got like million plus following, and it's quite interesting because whilst the product offerings are obviously very different, one thing that I think is very obvious is that some, despite the size of even some of the people I'm working with, some just don't know how to do like a really great partnership that's not just, here's a link, put it on your site, and like, thanks very much, collect your check. Like, one thing I learned from my time over at Thinkific, it's the power of building amazing relationships with people, and relationships that in places that you wouldn't normally expect. And I think that's the route that this industry is going to go very, very soon. And in particular, B2B affiliates and B2B partnerships is probably going to be one of the hottest industries to get into, because we're seeing a shift now, B2B businesses wanting to branch out into partnerships overall. So resellers, agencies, content affiliates, influencers, or like what we call like brand ambassadors. So like, I've had the pleasure of like working with people like Lewis Howes, Magennis, John Lee Dumas, all these people, like ran all these amazing campaigns with these guys during my time over at Thinkific. And when you get to work with these people, you realize like even those, compared to the size of their business, in terms of staff to like a big SaaS company, these guys are making so much money through affiliates and through joint venture relationships. But they've been able to do that because they've done the legwork of building a great audience, a great community, and great partnerships across many different industries, many different brands. They've looked at everything that they use and then figured out how can I bring value to those brands on top back. So if anyone's not listened to Entrepreneurs on Fire, highly recommend it out. It's a great podcast. Not as good as this podcast, but I would highly recommend you go and check it out. Yeah, go see it, because JLD, he's a born and bred affiliate marketer at its core, and you can look at his income report. The guy's making hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month. Pat Flynn's making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. They've been able to do that because they're finding solutions to audience problems, and they're obviously by them doing that, they're then offering that audience back to all these other brands, all these other businesses that would kill just for them to send one email to their audience. But you can't, unlike something like Ebates or Top Cashback and these guys, these big voucher code and coupon sites. Sorry, James, single out Top Cashback, you guys are amazing. But you have to buy access to that audience. You have to email, you have to pay to get pay to play. But in some cases, if you can build up a really amazing relationship with, the likes of JLD and all these other people, and you can build these authentic relationships where you can give them something that goes just beyond that commission, then, they're the type of people that will share what you have to say to their audience. Because eventually they know they will get paid. But if you're delivering great value, a great experience to your partners overall, there's a lot more you can get from them just putting a very simple affiliate link on their blog.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're absolutely right. So you touched upon it a little bit. So the influencers and your non-traditional affiliates in your past life, how did you utilize those to grow? It was a Thinkific affiliate program, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so the Thinkific affiliate program, it's pretty much grew off the back of our top influencers, our top partners. We weren't a program that is the size of like a traditional e-commerce program where you've got thousands of affiliates, thousands of people to manage, thousands of people to follow up and stay in touch with and activate. I wanted to keep it as like lean as possible, but deliver as much maximum quality as we could. And the way to do that was to start identifying influencers, technology partners. Obviously we had some bloggers out there, really nice, big e-commerce-platforms.com, Adam Onfroy, Jeff Cobb, great affiliates for the program, and highly recommend if anyone's in courses, go check out those free affiliates there. They'll do great by it. They do amazing stuff. But we tried to work it where if we could essentially borrow or have the trust transfer to us from these big influencers saying, this is a platform that we stand by. This is a platform that is changing lives. It's doing amazing things. We're so proud to be part of what these guys are doing. And we think you should go check them out. Here's a month free and stuff. Here's a bespoke landing page. That's where we were seeing massive gains. And that's why the program grew pretty much from 0 to 6 figures a month.
Fantastic. No, it's good because the problem I see is that B2B partnerships or affiliates are tough to find, and you really got to work for them. They don't just fall in your lap like a lot of these B2C ones do. So it comes down to just relationships and strengthening them. That's what I tell everybody. And you just reinforce that it's about just relationships and just making sure that they're right for the brand too, because not everyone can promote every product. It just doesn't make sense. And when you were reaching out to these people, what was your message? What was
how did they do it?
Yeah.
So, a lot of it is it's not too dissimilar to like a content guest post type of approach where you're trying to step your way up, each time into like a bigger campaign. So there's a couple ways to do it, right? So the first one is, we were at a pretty decent size in terms of our audience. So we were looking at our customer base. We're like, okay, so out of, let's say, our top 1,000 customers, who in this top 1,000 customers has access to the audience that we want and we need to share this message to? First of all, look at your existing customers. Take your top 1,000 customers, top 100 customers, hell, even your top 10 customers. Even if you've got 10 customers, start with your 10 customers. Figure out if they have access to the type of audience that you want. And then it is really simply a matter of getting on the phone, reaching out to them, talking with them, and really trying to understand what is it that makes them, what motivates them. Because some people, like, frankly, don't care that much about money. They care more about, when the time comes, will you promote my product to your audience, or will you bring me on for a webinar that I can get some exposure? So it's always trying to figure out, like, what is it that's going to motivate those particular, like, top influencers and partners. And then for those that are not in, like, your existing client base, you've then got to look to, okay, so if those are like the top people that we work with, who do they know, who do they associate with that are in that same space? So, like, two really good people, right? You've got Lewis Howes, amazing course creator, and then you've got Amy Porterfield. Amy Porterfield, well-known Kajabi user, which is a Thinkific competitor, pretty sure they know each other, they're big people in the space. So then you would look to, who are these people messaging, associating with, who have they got connections with? And then it's about reaching out or getting introductions via these people as well, warm introductions if possible. And if not, then it's a matter of regularly liking, commenting, sharing their contact, dropping them notes, maybe doing something of a surprise. If they've done a launch recently and maybe they've bought themselves, let's say, a brand new car, then you could go and send them like a customized key ring or something like that, something really, really cool to like capture their attention. And then stuff like that, little physical gifts, I believe work really, really well in trying to recruit these really big thought leaders, especially if you've really thought about what is it that they like, what is it they're talking about on social media. And if you don't know them, and you're trying to build this like relationship, this sort of omnipresence on their social media feed, so they're always seeing that you're there type of thing in a non-creepy way, then when you actually finally reach out and say, hey, big fan of your work, this is what we're doing right now, but I would love to get you to come and do something to our audience or to our network or to our people and deliver some value there, because for them that's free content, it's free exposure, and you do it in a way where it's like you're not expecting it to get anything back. It's just a matter of, hey, we want to help you. What are you working on? We'd love to bring you some exposure where we can, just to start this conversation up, and then it all starts from there. We've been very lucky over at Thinkific, recruited quite a few of our competitors, top influencers that way. Sometimes it took forever. Sometimes it was like in an instant. And again, it all came down to like motivations of what they wanted. So you have that sort of top like influencer and partner area. But for someone that's running a small business right now and they're trying to figure, and they've got a product, they're selling it, and they're trying to figure out what to do, I would start writing down the top 100 people that you want to partner with, and then start ranking them by like, do you know them? Do they know you? Do they have a list size that's a similar size to yours? And then start ordering that by the people that you know first. Reach out to them, catch up with them, see how they're doing, and work your way down the list. That's the 30-second summary of it. And then as you're developing these relationships, start with something small. If you just say, hey, let's do a webinar together, that's like such a monumental amount of work. It takes planning on both sides. You've got to come up with content. It's a lot to do, but a really like cool way to get some quick wins from these partners is to do like lead magnet sharing. It's a very easy way to do it. Let's just say your Hootsuite, right? Arbitrary example, your Hootsuite, you've got access to a huge amount of social media, people that are interested in like running their social media accounts. And then let's say you've got another tool that also works, or another influencer that works with those types of people. You could invite them in and say, hey, we know you're the specialist in, creating a beautiful Instagram feed. Why don't you come in and do some training to our audience here? Once you start that relationship, give them enough value, give them what they want and more. Then when the time comes, you can, I hate to use the word cash in, but that's essentially what it is. You're going to be able to go for that big ask and say, hey, we've got a summit coming up, we've got a webinar coming up. We would love for you to also be part of that. The only thing we ask is that, you can share this, if you can share this to your list, it's got to be done. It's got to be done in a very like graceful way, but 9 times out of 10, these people share it because you've done so much for them. You've built these are amazing relationships up with people. And that's why you don't necessarily need to go out and recruit. About e-commerce, maybe, but if you can find some really, really great ambassadors and they've got access to an amazing audience, that know, like, and trust them, know, like, and trust you, then you really don't need to just burn yourself out or like create this like giant like whale of an affiliate team. It's not really necessary, because we were ranked number 1 on ShareSale. We ranked number 1 for education, and we beat so many other SaaS platforms as well in that space. So you don't have to do this like madness of recruitment that I see a lot of people always wanting to do. Just go and find really high quality partners. And it doesn't matter what they do, where they're at, as long as they have the audience that you want and you want access to, and as long as you can deliver some sort of value to them and a specific need, or if you identify, let's say, a gap in their content and you can fill that and you can provide that content for free to their audience, then go and do it. And then that's where you're going to be able to build some amazing relationships. And these relationships, being honest, these are relationships that enabled me to go and start my own consulting company in the new year. So if I hadn't done all that hard work, managing all these influencers, managing all these partners, and I say all of them, the size that I had, I wouldn't be able to just, when I left, say, hey, you always said you would want me to come and like give you some advice, consulting on affiliates and partnerships. Well, actually, I'm now available. So if you're free for a chat, I signed 2 clients my first day I quit. The first day I decided to go for it. So yeah, it shows, man, like the power of relationships is what it's about.
No, absolutely. And a few minutes ago, you touched upon like sending like little gifts and things like that. Have you ever heard of John Ruhlin with Giftology?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I listen to him a lot, and I hear him on a lot of podcasts, and he says you don't expect results right away. He's like, you got to just keep going and going. He's like, he was talking about how he sent gifts to prospective clients for I think a couple of years until they actually finally worked with him. So it's one of those things where, yeah, you can sign someone first email, but a lot of the good ones you're gonna have to work for.
Yeah, that's right. But there's a good way to, it's like a little hack to go. And I'm talking more sort of, I guess you could say like B2B SaaS type of affiliates now. A really great way to go and see who's promoting other people's stuff. There's a lot of like what we call joint in the sort of online course entrepreneurship affiliate world. There's like the term JV, joint venture. It's used a lot. It's pretty much interchangeable between affiliates and partnerships in a lot of ways. And they all have these leaderboards for when people do course launches. I'm part of a launch right now for virtualsummits.com. So I'm going to give them a plug here, virtualsummits.com. If you want to run one, I highly recommend you go check them out. And with those guys, they've got 112 speakers. We've got Johnny Dumas, loads and loads and loads of different people, P-Virus, all, amazing thought leaders that you probably see on your LinkedIn feed and on these big podcasts. And, the guy that set that up has done some amazing leaderboards, amazing prizes for people. You can search these leaderboards a lot of the time online because they're usually in public groups. This one, unfortunately, is not its own private group, but there's a lot of these leaderboards, these income reports, and these are the places that you can go and find some like really amazing partners that perhaps have access to the audience you want. So, a good way to be, just jump on Google, type in your industry, type in JV leaderboard, affiliate leaderboard, and then start looking through. And it's that sort of Sherlock Holmes investigation work that you need to do first to really figure out, like, is this person a right fit? Because you can't just go and like blast everyone that has access to, let's say, the CEO office of like the top 500 SaaS companies, because that might not work. You need to really figure out, how can I add value to this person? Is there a really good fit between our two businesses, our two brands, or our two offerings? Does it complement? Does it add massive value? And if it does, then that's when you go on, and it's when you can then go forward and say, okay, so who is this person? What are they about? And then once you paint that picture, when you do the ask, or when you do the introduction, they're not getting this cold email of, hey, first name, I saw your blog and really liked it. Check out my blog. Please share it. Here's a link. Like that sort of, I would say poo-poo. I was using another word for it, but that's all poo for it. That stuff doesn't work anymore. It really doesn't. 10 years ago it worked, 5 years ago it worked. It doesn't. And if you're working with these big thought leader influencers, they all use courses. They all use digital products. They all promote other SaaS products and companies as well, and other e-commerce brands as well. And they see through that instantly, that they really do, because the core of their relationships, the core of their revenue is also built on joint ventures. So if anyone is interested in like self-development, online courses, entrepreneurship, and you're listening to this, it's probably likely you've subscribed to, or you might have opted in for someone like Amy Porterfield's recent course launch she had coming up. She had pretty much the who's who of like online entrepreneurship promoting her stuff. She's given away an amazing commission bundle. And these people, they all promote each other's stuff as well. As long as it makes sense, there's a good old earning opportunity, but they'll all happily promote each other's stuff because it makes sense, because they have access to a similar audience. That's the theme, as always. Like, is the audience a great match? Is that end user a match? Is it going to deliver massive value to them? Because if it does, then it's just like, frankly, it's going to make a sale. And if it doesn't, then that's usually why, or it's really super bad copy.
Nope, you're absolutely right. But in terms of what you did with the program over there, if you were to tell like an affiliate manager that's starting out in a SaaS company or a B2B program, starting it, what would be the first thing you would tell them to do, and what should be their focus from day one?
Well, I think the first thing is the product actually making sales and money right now? If it's a SaaS company, there's a lot of SaaS companies out there that don't make that much money, or they've not validated the product idea. Let's say that they have, okay. I would recommend that they look at their customer, they look at their end user. And if they've got multiple ones, then they need to essentially draw that customer avatar. And then from there, they then need to start break down, okay, so what do they read? What do they listen to? What software do they use? What hardware, physical items? Break down everything that this person does. And then sort of step back and look and say, okay, so what industries, associations, or companies or third parties that have access to these products, these services that we can go and approach first. And then you need to do this so I would say do this mind map of your customer, and then figure out where these partners are going to sit. Because again, just because someone is got a blog in, let's say, like online course creation, they might not be a great fit for something else, but it might be a great fit for like a social media tool. You've really got to break it down, who your customers are, figure out what is it that they're using every day to make their life easier, where are you adding value, where are they hanging out, and then start looking at the main players in those industries and sectors and technologies and companies and products, and then go and approach them with value, with something with value to add.
So it comes down to just having that person that you're contacting, just make sure there's some value in it for them, because you don't want to have it feel like you're just being selfish and just contacting them for your own good. You want to make sure that it's a win-win for both parties. And eventually, as we discussed, the relationship will be built, and then you won't have to worry about it down the road. You'll have the strong partnership, and you guys will do other deals or other partnerships. And it's just about building it up at the beginning. And then that's what a lot of people just don't want to invest the time in doing.
100%. You've hit the nail on the head there. I've worked at Affiliate Window, now called AWin, done sales, selling, affiliate management, OPM stuff. And the biggest theme, certainly for small businesses, they want like instantaneous results, instant results, or they're a brand new company. They're like, I want to do affiliate marketing. And I have to say, like, affiliate marketing is an amazing tool, but it should always, you have to have your product validated. You have to be making sales unless you've got a very well-known and respected brand already. Let's say you've built up an amazing community, or on Instagram or on, LinkedIn or wherever it is, and you've never sold a product, then you can do the product launch formula type of approach. But a lot of these people want the instant results. And when you say like it's 6 months, it could be more depending on like your industry. And SaaS, unfortunately, is one of these industries that, whilst I believe it's going to be really, really big, you're going to see loads more OPM specialists and loads of people. I was got called the other day with someone who's like, I see this as a huge opportunity. I'm going to start my own agency. Can you help give me some advice and stuff? So I know like this is going to get really big, but I do believe it's also a combination of like, is there enough access to the type of audience that you want? Because a traditional affiliate program, in the sense of working with these big cashback and voucher code and toolbar extension providers, a lot of them aren't necessarily a great fit if they're not targeting the type of user that you want. So you really got to think like, is there that sort of reach already with what we're doing? Again, going back to like using your existing customers, even the small couple of 100 people, 10 people, whoever it is, they really love what you do, and you're delivering great value for them, to make them your very first ambassadors and get them to start talking about you. Make it like dead easy for them to promote you, dead easy for them to tell everyone about what you're doing. And I want to give a shout out to my friend Rob Balasabas, who you should 100% go check out on YouTube and LinkedIn. Me and him worked together over at Thinkific. He was the social media guy, and then he evolved into partnerships as well. I was the affiliate guy with partnerships on top, and he's been able to build an amazing community of content creators through the work he's doing over at TubeBuddy now. TubeBuddy is a tool that YouTube creators use, millions and millions of downloads, and they use it to optimize their channels. But he's been able to build a huge community by delivering massive value as a brand ambassador. And that was even way before he got the job there. He was invited to their events. He's built up these relationships where he loves talking about the product, and it authentically comes across. And then he pops his affiliate link in there, and he's making good money from it. And they're the sorts, I believe, like they're the types of influencers that people should go after. Having worked with having worked with influencers that have got 15 million plus followers and doing paid campaigns with them, and I can actually say like they're nowhere near the value or nowhere near as good as working with someone like a Rob, or someone who's got this highly engaged micro mid-level community of people.
Well, that's what it comes down to. These influencers, they can have millions of followers, but how engaged are they? Where you have your buddy Rob, he's got a really solid, engaged micro audience that they trust everything that he says, and they know he won't steer them wrong, and he ends up reaping the rewards because he can refer whatever he wants, really, and then his audience will trust him so much that they'll go and buy it, and it's crazy. And I find that a lot with these influencers, where I take a look at their profile. Yeah, they have a lot of followers, but their engagement's low, and then they come back with these ridiculous asks, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, you want that for this? I'm like, get out of here. I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's just, it's crazy. And some people think they're influencers when they're really not too.
Yeah, I think so. And I believe, right, if you're an influencer, if you have a good audience, as much fun as it is to promote another brand, missing a bigger piece of the pie. If they can really build a genuinely engaged community, they should launch their own product. There's so many opportunities now to drop ship, get your own product created within, the blink of an eye. You can go to a design, an agency, they can create t-shirts, hoodies, you can get dropship branded food. There's so many options now to be your own product, to be your own brand and sell it. and you can make way more money, like just way more money. There's a lady I worked with before, Mimi Bouchard. She's an influencer. So I'm going to say, like, she's a typical influencer. She's a young lady. She's got a couple 100,000 people. She was on a TV show in the UK, but over the course of time, she realized that her audience wasn't necessarily, I want to say, like the right match. It wasn't like a really good fit for her and her goals. So she went like all in on this self-development process where she learned yoga, mindfulness, planning your life, and creating a vision for yourself and a purpose. And then she started to document that. And then now, like last year, she launched a course with Thinkific. It was a wildly successful launch because even though she had a large following, even with the people that she's engaged with, she sold a ton of body reset plans and PDFs. Things like $97 in total, top of my head. Done really, really well. 6-figure launch. And now this year, she's created her own app, and she's done even better. She's created essentially her own Netflix now, and she's selling that en masse. What's next for her, I don't know. She's probably going to do her own nutrition products. The sky's the limit. So that's what I mean. Like, these influencers, they just want to see the promo. But if you don't have that engaged audience, I believe now the brands are just getting there's way too much data, and there's too many ways now for brands to find out if you're a faker or not. So it's good, because hopefully there's a lot of these fakers are going to disappear. But there'll always be a few. But
they always get through somehow.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, man, there's some great opportunities out there. So I think if anyone's listening to this and they want to jump into partnerships and affiliates, doesn't matter what your product is, what industry, what sector, make sure you're already selling your product. If you're already selling your product, then it means that you've got interest, and it means that affiliates or partners or anyone that wants to promote it will eventually get paid commission. If you don't, if you're not making barely any sales at all, well, let's say like you're making barely sales and you've been doing it for a really, really long time, then I think it's worth looking at your offering, positioning, and even potentially readjusting your target audience. Because, if we're talking like typical e-commerce affiliates now, they want to get paid. They're going to promote your stuff. They might email their list, but they want, end of the day, they want to get paid. So, talking about what you were saying with my example with Rob earlier, the one thing that influencers do have, good influencers have, is trust, right? And you are essentially getting that trust transferred to you. So going back, right back to what we were saying at the start, that's the key. That's the key there. You've got to get that. You've got to get that trust. And if you break it by selling a product, by saying, I've got an amazing product, we're going to give you all this commission, and then, it tanks or doesn't do well, and that's it. Like, frankly, and in particular in like the entrepreneurship world, once you've messed up a few times, that's pretty much it, mate. It's very hard to get that relationship back. And I guess that is like the golden rule for anything, first impressions last forever,
That's the absolute truth. And I think we're going to leave it there. But Patty, I'm going to be quite honest with you. This is probably the most value-packed episode that I've ever recorded, with so much good stuff in it that I'm going to have to go back and re-listen to it myself, just because there was so much going on here that I'm so happy that you provided this. It's going to be great for people that are interested in this.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. What I say is that if anyone's on LinkedIn and they want to come connect to me, Paddy McGill, LinkedIn, or you can do linkedin.com/in/partnerpreneur, which is my title there, and come, let's connect, and I'm happy to help you guys out wherever you need.
Again, thank you so much, Patty. And I'll be in touch with you, and then hopefully you can come on again and we can discuss other projects you're working on too.
We'd love to. Thanks, Rick. This has been awesome.
We want to hear what you thought about this episode. You can email Rick directly at rick@bearcatmedia.com or leave a review where you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe, because new episodes will be released every Wednesday. Thank you for listening to the Rick Magennis Show podcast. Never miss an episode by subscribing to the podcast in iTunes, Google Play, and wherever podcasts are available. To learn more about Rick, go to bearcatmedia.com.